Hello everyone, my name is Igor Mikalishin. I'm from northern Norway. I'm a photographer, primarily landscape, and more recently I got into wildlife and bird photography. And this video is dedicated to my recent journey to Vardo and to the island that is near Vardo named Hornoya. Why I went there was because I wanted to take pictures of puffins and razorbills. Those two birds were my primary reasons why I went there. And I wanted to make really nice postcard look images. I wanted to spend a few days on Hornoya Island that is near Vardo, and I wanted to photograph birds, all types of birds that inhabit the area during the mating season for the birds. They come there in March, late March, April, and they start breeding, start building their nests and fighting and do all those kinds of things. And that was primarily the idea. What I wanted to capture and photograph is birds in the beginning of their mating season. Vardo is a small city that is located in northern Norway. It's in Finnmark. This is a small, relatively small town, but it's really lively and lots of things are happening there. It's a city and a place where many fishermen live, Sami people live, and all kinds of people, Russians, Ukrainians, whoever doesn't live there, right? And it takes a lot of time to get there. You either go there by plane and you can take a Vidrova flight, which would be almost direct flight to Vardo and would cost a lot of money, or you can take a flight from Oslo to Kirkenes and take a bus ride, which is roughly 4 hours. It's a very beautiful place. It's cold in April, still nature going on. It's all covered in snow, ice. It's very rough because it's far north. But it's a very beautiful location, and it's especially beautiful because of its wildlife. And Vardo is a known place for bird watchers. And throughout the time, through March to September, October, bird watchers from all around the world go there to watch rare types of birds and photograph them. And basically I'm the one of those people that went there because of this reason. This is sort of a forepost for those professionals and hobby photographers and filmmakers and just people that wanna explore the north. I was surprised by the amount of snow, but it was a time when the storm came and it brought a lot of snow to the area. And usually in April, it's like late April, there is still snow laying around, but it's not in the amount that it was there when I came. There's many places that you can visit in Vardo, and of course you can go to Hornoya straight away, but I decided, well, maybe I spend a few days just around the city and see what I can find. And most of the places that I will show you in the video have visited before, but I have visited them again just for the purpose of the video and to show to you what you can do there. So the first thing is quite famous. It's a memorial to the people that been primarily Sami people, but also other nations, but a lot of Sami, that been executed for so-called witchcraft, or basically for anything that rulers and the people of the time would consider witchcraft. The second place that we went to was fortifications, and like I think it's 17th or 18th century fortifications that were built up in Vardo as a forepost to show off to I guess Russian Empire and the times that historic importance this area is. It still is very historically important for modern Russia and for modern Norway, because a lot of cooperation, especially regional cooperation, happened in the area in Kirkenes and Vardo and Murmansk, and those cities are key points for Russian, Norwegian and Northern cooperation in general. There is also a nice museum you can visit, which is Pomor Museum. It's about the people that have been living there since whatever times, and one more place, it's called Kiberg. It's a small town. There is basically nothing happening apart from a Kittiwaki hotel that they built as a part of a protection project for Kittiwakis, endangered species of seagulls, and they build like some areas for them to live on and breed on. And there's also a big beach, lots of birds, a very general area, and there is a main, like partisan museum about the Second World War and what people were doing there during Second World War, and about the cooperation between Soviet Union and Norwegian partisan movement, like partisan, it's in Norwegian it may be the same word, but for English speakers it would be like guerrilla warfare. It's a very nice place to visit, but unfortunately when I was there this time it was closed, and you would need to call a special person that would come and open it for you, but well, I didn't know that at the time. So my trip actually didn't went to the plan from the beginning. We went to Kirkenes and we decided to go to Vardo straight away. And the first maybe 2 days the weather was pretty calm and we were just enjoying the area. And unfortunately the weather got really bad and we got into the storm, which lasted for 4 days, and we couldn't go to Hornoya island because of that. High winds and high seas, and we had to wait for 4 days and just come up with all sorts of things, and I had to go to the other ideas and see what I can do. So the first day we went there, relaxed, explored a little bit, and then we decided to just go a little bit explore the Vardo itself, because it has some sort of wild areas near the city that you can walk to. It's like 2-3 kilometers one way, and it's a nice place to photograph some birds, where I took this image that you will see now. I don't know if the microphone works well now. Hopefully it does. I just dropped it in the snow. I cleaned it, but I still don't know if it does work well. So I'm here in the harbor of Vardo, just exploring the area, and I just want to make some photo. I'm not sure what photo I want to make though. Maybe I want to go to the boats down first from this area here. But that's what I want to photograph here right now, is this probably these old buildings and these two boats that are dry docking, but I'm not sure they're dry docking. I think it's just an exhibition. They're quite old. Yeah, and these two more modern ones. Maybe I will get a little bit back just for better angle and see how it looks from there. And I try to make a picture. Just somewhere here maybe. Should snow. A lot better, yeah. We'll see. And now I'm going to check the picture and see how it looks. And as you may see, it's a little bit underexposed. So what we're gonna do is probably bring out one of the filters. Actually, the filter is quite dirty. And we're gonna slightly brighter and see if there are any, like, how you say it, any artifacts on the filter, or like dirt or something, because sometimes I get this if I didn't clean it properly, and that might result in a bad picture. So here's a view on the harbor itself. As you may see, nothing very spectacular, just very out north into the Barents Sea, and there are a bunch of seagulls flying and sitting in the water. So I'm gonna check the picture and see how it looks. Yeah, well, that looks very bad. There are artifacts in the water, but that's just a test shot. I'm not sure what it is. I need to check, so wait. So here's the composition, the first shot I have made. You can see that I was trying to play around with this rope, and was going to this boat and the boat house and fisher factory in behind. And since the boat are moving and everything is moving, I didn't put like long exposure. I didn't do long exposure image. I did it short and handheld. And now we'll be going to try and test out another image and see how that works. I'm currently surrounded by these fisherman boats all around me. I'm going to make try another shot that should look like we are standing in between two boats, basically facing the fish factory, trying to avoid facing too much of the city. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. We'll see though, hopefully it does. I'm very scared for this microphone because it falls off all the time. I'm trying to figure out the best location that will work for it. It actually has lights on. It should look quite interesting. I quite like it. I should probably focus because I'm wide open. I will be focusing on the boat. And something like that. Quite high I saw, but a little bit hard to work with one hand. I usually keep it in two hands to make it secured, but as this image, do once again, something like that. This purple sandpiper or purple nose sandpiper, whatever this bird is called, it's a pretty cool experience to see them in their natural habitat, but they also live in Lofoten as well as puffins, but I wanted more of a close-up experience with birds, because in here they are more afraid of people. So yeah, next few days we were just waiting for the better weather, and we were praying to all the gods that we'll have the time to get there. The time was really scarce, limited. I did plan few days ahead just in case of the bad weather, that I would at least get one day to go to the island and back and photograph the birds. The idea was to go there for few days. And because you can stay and live there in a lighthouse, the only thing is you have to bring your own basically food and water supply for the amount of days you're gonna live there. And I was planning to do it, and I wanted to do it, and maybe I'll do it again in summertime, but we'll see about those plans because it's quite expensive to fly and back and get to the island and rent the room and stay in the room. Only on the last day, just basically one day before I had my flight scheduled back, we got a chance to get to the island. And to get to the island, you need to take a boat. And this boat goes very scheduled. They have their schedule. It goes multiple times a day because it's a very popular spot. Lots of people go there. And since it's a popular spot, lots of people go there. They have a very tight schedule. And I wanted to go there really badly, and it was really frustrating to experience it in a way, because we had to spend a lot of time just going there and asking the captain if he decides to go or not, and he needs to check the seas and needs to see that yes, today we can go. Those little things, they are very important, and it was always a struggle to sort of ask them whether or not they're going to the island today or not. So we spent a lot of time basically wasted because of the weather. But finally, on the last day that we were in Vardo, we got a chance to go there, and it was really amazing experience to go to the island. It was still high seas, it was very dangerous seas, but because the captain is a very experienced guy, he took us, went there with one boat. They couldn't, connect it to the pier, so we had to take a raft boat and go there once again with a raft boat. So we went there. in Vardo, and there are lots of birds, and you can see them and spot them in different areas. I think the island of Hornoya is roughly home to 80,000 birds. There are lots of guillemots, lots of razorbills, lots of puffins, lots of cormorants, lots of other types of birds, eagles, hunting birds. I've seen some sea eagles, but they are more rare to the area because it's a predator. So I spent some time exploring the island and trying my best to film and photograph at the same time. Of course, my primary reason to be there was to photograph the birds, not to spend time filming them so much for this video. However, I did manage to capture a lot of footage that I share with you here now, and you can see on the screen. So I have spent about in total maybe 7 hours on the island, and I have filled 3 sets of my memory cards with pictures and videos of the birds. Unbelievable experience, because birds would get really close to you. They were not afraid of you as they are, for example, afraid of people on the island of Røst that is close to Luften, where I often go in the summer to photograph the birds. And it was really interesting. And so the next 7 hours I did spend on the island, and I got got shitted by birds like twice probably on my gear and myself. I have taken a small break in the lighthouse there, and kind people let us inside to drink some tea and get some lunch before getting back and photograph more birds and spend more time filming them. It's very important that on Hornoya you behave calmly, you don't scare birds, and you are just very basically polite to them because it's their house, right? And there's this restricted area that you can explore, and you're not allowed to go across this border that is dedicated for people to walk around. My idea for pictures was pretty simple. I wanted to photograph puffins fighting. I wanted to photograph puffins close-up portraits of the birds, and I did manage to capture a few very interesting images in my opinion. I wanted to photograph razorbills because all the pictures of razorbills I had in the past were absolute trash. And in terms of equipment for the island of Hornoya, I took with myself a 100mm lens and 70 to 200mm lens. And I've been using those two lenses for 100% of the shots. And 70 to 200 was more for taking videos, but of course I also used the 400mm to take videos. And it was really a joyful experience. And this gear that I used was quite impressive. And it was my first time actually properly using it in a way. Very expensive gear. It was 400mm I bought primarily for this sort of project that I will be working on, and I'm working on now as a photographer. And I wanted to make sure that anything that I photograph is in focus, it's sharp, it's beautiful. It was really challenging challenging mind games to wait for multiple days to get to the island. The day was beautiful, we had really precious sunlight, and the light was just gorgeous. photograph them because they're really pretty birds. They have really beautiful beaks and they have beautiful colors. But I also like razorbills because of how simple they look. Other birds like cormorants were less of an interest to me, but I did have a nice image that I did not really expect to take, with a bird looking towards the sea and sitting on the cliff, and I really wanted to emphasize area of a landscape and the area where birds live. And this is the picture you see now on the screen that I took. And I was actually waiting for the bird to land on this cliff for, I think, an hour or two. And I did have one bird land. It was not on the tip of the cliff, so I had to wait for another bird to sit exactly on the tip of the cliff and give me this nice subject to photograph. And probably sort of in a way a classic shot of a puffin. I really wanted to know the highest resolution possible, because in my plan for this shot I see it as a gallery shot, that the gallery image that you print on a huge size canvas. I really enjoyed using 400mm lens. I bought it primarily as I said, I bought it primarily to photograph the birds that they are on the island and photograph it throughout the summer. The portraits of puffins, razorbills and cormorants, the amount of details, that was in my go-to lens during this trip, and I did probably 70 or 80% of the work in terms of photographing birds on this lens. And I would bring it again to my next journeys, and definitely would. So I have another photo of a puffin, obviously, where the bird was collecting material to build up the nest, because it's just exactly the bird had some details of that, some parts that's basically grass that he uses for his nest. And I really liked the details on that. And you can see how well focused it is and how sharp it is on the screen. The other images, I also took some landscape photos, but I did struggle a little bit with landscape because I prefer more grand looking landscapes and some things that big mountains, dramatic skies. I did get a lot of dramatic skies, but I didn't have big mountains because it's Vardo, they don't have huge mountains. And so there are a few images you see on your screen of landscapes that I took. The first one is just the first day actually of an absolutely gorgeous sunset. I do share a lot of my work on Instagram, so I have also taken some images mid-flight. I was testing the lens and autofocus of the lens in my camera, how it will perform. I did struggle a lot because I'm not a professional bird photographer, but I did capture a few images, birds mid-flight. Some of them turned out quite well. Obviously a portrait of the puffin is a main goal that I was inspired actually by Vardo Hotel where I stayed. They had a big print on the wall, and I was looking at that print while waiting for weather to calm down, and I was like, oh shit, I want to take this image as well. I want to have it in my collection. Maybe some wide-angle lens would be a creative choice that I actually wanted to use it with puffins, but I didn't want to disturb them too much, so I didn't do it, but I think kind of regret it now. That I didn't get too close to them with, I just didn't spend time waiting for them to get close to me. And with a wide lens, I bet those images would look very interesting. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really enjoyed talking and sharing it with you, and I hope you enjoyed listening. I would really appreciate if you give me a like, follow, and I would greatly appreciate any conversation in the comments. So if you have any questions, tips, tricks, anything you would like to ask me about, please don't hesitate, ask, and I will do as much as I can.
Десь сад вишенных этих,